Defend your legacy. Yes, indeed. More than 2 years and numerous videos on this game. Started out Final Fantasy Record Keeper Brotherhood. So yes, I thought I'd finally go out with a bang. This will be my final video on Final Fantasy Record Keeper. And I'm finally going to do a review on it as well. I thought it'd be pretty fitting. So sit back, relax and enjoy, guys, my review. Alright, we've heard this story 1,000 times already, so I'll keep it short. The story begins with Chaos stealing the events of the Final Fantasy universe, and it's up to the Record Keeper Tyro, with the help of Dr. Mog, of course, to retrieve those events by reliving them. Very simple, yet effective story. Unfortunately, the story would have been 1,000 times better if we could see Tyro being able to communicate or interact with the characters of the Final Fantasy universe. Being able to shape up the universe by adding in those additional cutscenes, but we only get little snippets of the descriptions of what actually happens in the events. I think they missed a huge opportunity there, since it would have made this story a lot more impactful to the audience. We do get little cutscenes with Dr. Mog, but they're usually just tutorials or him pointing you out in the right direction. I think it would have been a lot more awesome seeing little 16-bit Tyro being able to tell Cloud what's going on, what's going to happen in the upcoming battles ahead, since he's pretty much already seen the future. It would be like Back to the Future mixed in with Dragon Ball Xenoverse. I think a lot more people would appreciate that and look forward to the next chapter of the story, so it falls a little bit short in that department. Microtransactions. I know this is what many people think of when they install a free-to-play game, and that's fair enough, because I get hooked into these microtransactions as well. I believe every mobile game is defined on how they utilize microtransactions in the game, and it ties in with the overall gameplay experience. So how easy is it to get the in-game currency mithril? Well, pretty easy, but at the same time, depending on how well you restrict yourself by not blowing your load too fast, you fellas know what I mean. We do get these weekly events and some anniversary style events which give away mithril. The game definitely rewards the savers as well. So what does this in-game currency do? They can speed things up, revive your party, refresh stamina, getting through the story faster, expand weapon slots or abilities. Usually I suggest to refresh stamina every now and then, especially for newer players to catch up to the veteran players, so they can get through more events and earning more mithril at the same time, so it's a win-win. Since new players miss so many events, since we get new ones once a week, pretty much more events you can get through, the more mithril. 99% of the people that play Record Keeper are probably shouting at me, because that's not usually what they spend mithril on anyway. Well, mithril or real-life money, in fact. So let's talk about where DNA brings in the whales. Gambling. Well, there is a gacha system where you spend in-game currency to pull on the top-tier relics, or real-life money, of course. The chances have vastly increased since the game was released. If you watch my beginner guides, then you would kind of know what I mean already. Long story short, relics are weapons or armor, which you can pull between a 3 to 6 star relic. I was going to say 5 star, but they have expanded to 6 stars now, so depending when you watch this video, you never know. 5 to 6 star at the moment being the best, 3 to 4 being chucked away sooner or later. In the end of the day, does the game provide enough mithril for you to have a comfortable experience? Again, kind of yes or no. Yes, in the fact you can definitely get by the game, since it evolved quite a bit since the start, which is why it's really hard to review. To those who haven't seen the game at the start, to get top tier weapons or armor, there would have been a 5% chance to draw on them. Now there's about a 12% chance with a guaranteed 5-star relic if you do an 11 draw, and you also get that one additional relic because you're spending 10 to get 11. Relics have skills, or rather soul breaks, which can buff, damage, debuff, or a combination of them all. So 5 to 6 star relics is treated differently in every case. So Now it comes to the no part. How does this game bring in the whales, entice you to draw more with that guaranteed 5-star? If you save enough mithril, because each banner has different types of relics, it may be buffing, debuffing, etc. You may want to draw for one specific relic, or of course for your favorite character. I mean, who wouldn't want to have all their special abilities for their favorite character, the special character on top of that? Depending on what relic it is, it can give you also a mastery bonus, adding a small amount of stats to that character, so it entices you to have the best character or even a whole team. I've seen so many people spend thousands of dollars with that guaranteed 5-star. The chances to get one specific relic is abysmally low. So you're going to be getting a ton of dupes in the process. You guys know what I mean. You've seen my wailing for Zell. So you can either choose between a 1 draw, 3 draw, or 11 draw. People often opt for the 11 draw, mostly for the guaranteed 5-star. But that 1 or 3 draw is there because you're always asking yourself, maybe 1 more, maybe 3 more, because you're using less amount of mithril. And then when you're all out of mithril, you turn to that good old credit card, which is where you get a taste of that 1 draw, which is a third of the price once per banner. So your best friend is there either to rescue you or pretty much to shove a fist up your ass for the rest of the day. In all fairness, this gacha system is probably one of the best ones, having a pretty good percentage on what's actually on the banner as well. So you're not going to get that off-banner before we got a fuck ton of off-banner stuff. Similar to Exvius, some of you may have played Exvius, where you get a ton of off-banner relics as well, or summons in that case. And you also get that 5-star guaranteed as well. With sometimes you get that half-price banner situation for different banners. If there's going to be an update, sometimes you get a half-price banner. And also there's going to be various events in the process as well. So it also assists newer plays in that regard. We have to dedicate our draws to fellow record keepers to get good things, which probably won't even happen to me, but oh well. Whoa! Oh my god! What? Ah! What the fuck? Oh my god! Ah! Oh my god! Alright, so gameplay. The experience differs between each person. You may be casual, hardcore, a newcomer, in the mid-game, or in the late stages of the game as well. So let's break it down into those 3 categories: newcomer, mid-game, and later stages of the game. So first are the newcomers, of course. I feel like the newcomers will always be playing catch-up for a long period of time. Pretty much juggling between the story and the weekly events currently happening. There may be more than one weekly event as well, which can be extremely difficult. So it is a very difficult experience, especially when you hit that brick wall, when you feel like your characters aren't a high enough level, you don't have enough ability uses or top tier abilities as well, because Orbs is pretty much the grinding stage of the game. Orbs is pretty much what makes abilities, how to hone abilities as well, because when you create an ability, you may only have 2 to 4 ability uses depending on the ability, and then you need more orbs to hone up that ability as well, because the longer the battle, the more hones, the more abilities you need to use as well. So to accommodate for that, DNA is trying to bring back past events, but in actuality, new players will always feel like they're behind equipment-wise, mithril-wise, and the list pretty much goes on from there. So take your time, newer players. It's gonna be a rough time for you guys. I know that definitely, because I've created a new account before and I know how hard it is. The mid game, it takes a long time to reach the higher difficulty battles. Even for people that started the game pretty much a year ago, I'm sure they are having the same struggle as the majority of the players. Trust me, there is a grind, so prepare for it as well. Trying to find the best team, trying to construct the team that best accommodates for the situation trying to shape them up depending on what relics you received isn't easy as well. But in the end, it's what makes Record Keeper interesting. You can make your own team with any character you want because you have all the characters in the Final Fantasy universe. Unfortunately, you can't really say the same for relics. If you want to be free to play, you might not even get one soul break for your favorite character, which is completely heartbreaking. So mid-game can be definitely a game of patience, I'd say. Alright, so the end game, I shouldn't say end game, but the later stages of the game when you're waiting for a new event to happen. So what makes the game difficult for myself as a veteran? So DNA is always releasing new battles to kind of sway away from the same strategy, because when you're near the end, later stages of the game, I should really avoid that word. You sway away from using your normal skills and spam abilities which bring up your soul break gauge, and then you kind of rinse and repeat from there, because you might have a normal skill like Protector, but then you have a soul break which gives Protector and Hastaga, so because you only have 2 abilities which you can use on each character, you can free up an ability use to use a different ability and then get a soul break which accommodates for that missing ability as well. So it can kind of be a little bit iffy there as well. So DNA has released Nightmare Battles, which makes you use a precise strategy so you can't use certain abilities. They're also releasing no soul break levels in the future, so it feels less pay to win. Then we come to multiplayer as well. There are technical issues which you can expect because the servers may be pretty shitty, and of course someone hosting from America as well can be a little bit iffy for me being in Australia. I think when you think of multiplayer with Final Fantasy Record Keeper, you kind of know what you're expecting anyway. There are 4 players, each controlling 2, and it's pretty much your basic battle system. But then the problem is there is no real communication between the players except for those stamps. And in the harder battles, you kind of need to develop a certain tactic or strategy which other players may not be able to know straight away, so you might have to kick them unless you write a note when you create the game. Yeah, like I said, the little speech bubble thing doesn't really help a whole lot, but it would have been really awesome to have like some sort of voice recognition in the game as well, but fortunately it comes a little bit short there. But all in all, the multiplayer is really, really, really fun, especially when you have players in like Discord and stuff like that you can communicate as well, and streaming for me personally has been a blast in the process. Hey guys, so there is a ton I didn't cover in this review, I know that myself, but I think it's great for newer players and players all over the world to experience it yourself. Record Keeper is definitely worth a try for anyone that likes Final Fantasy, really. So if you haven't tried it, give it a go. I think there's a great amount of depth and strategy involved into every battle, except for the lower difficulty ones where it becomes pretty much a cakewalk for the mid gamers or the late gamers. So it kind of has battles which accommodate for every type of player base, which I definitely love, and of course, who doesn't play this game for nostalgia? So guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this review. If you did, please give it a like. I put in quite a bit of effort into it, and I hope it holds up to my last video on Record Keeper. Who knows, maybe in the distant future I'll make a new series on Record Keeper. I have to give it some thought. Maybe you guys can push me through it. Anyway, peace out, guys.